The graffiti said, "I'm so sorry I cheated."
You say G-Eazy one more time, I'll kick your
We would kill for each other. We would die for each other.
How could I have missed this? Everything was so good.
I was bleeding so much. When I walked back out, collapsed in the street, no one knew what to tell me. Dehydration, stress, anxiety. A lot of the time they can make you think it's in your head.
You're supposed to wake up every day and get over it. I wanted to make sure that she knew and that the rest of the world knew that what was happening, it just isn't right, and I'm not going to sit and let that happen.
Lately, there's been a new shift that has affected me personally.
I considered her irresponsible and untrustworthy.
There was kind of like that moment in time where I just felt like I couldn't trust anyone.
Halsey had always dreamed big of being a singer like her hero.
I was 14 years old, dancing in front of my mirror, singing. I need to be ready just in case one day Taylor Swift ever wants me to go on stage with her.
Music was the only thing that kept her afloat when she got diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
When I got my diagnosis, the first thing people around me did was apologize. The second thing that everybody did was tell me all of the things I wouldn't be able to do.
But Halsey was determined to prove that she could succeed at her dream. Her parents refused to accept that she didn't want to go to college and kicked her out onto the streets.
My friends were picking out decorations for their dorms. I was homeless in New York.
But that didn't stop her. She decided to take a chance and share her music with the world.
A record company hit me up and was like, "Hey, we love the song. We want you to come in tomorrow. Bring your manager." But the only manager I had was the one that made my schedule at the pizza place I worked at.
As her dreams started to come true, Halsey was determined not to let her mind sabotage her.
Our culture has an obsession and a distaste for the crazy woman. We love her, but we also weaponize that word against her. For a long time, I had really struggled with my mania. It was the worst part of me. I considered that girl, the manic one, irresponsible and untrustworthy.
But it wasn't her mind that let her down, it was her body.
One of the first tours I'd ever done, I woke up in so much pain, I was bleeding so much.
I had a miscarriage. I was 20 years old. I didn't even know I was pregnant. I remember staring at my managers. I remember them looking at me and saying, "This concert's kind of a big deal."
With no support, she did what she had always done, put on a brave face and carry on.
No one knew what to tell me. Dehydration, stress, anxiety, and I'm saying, well, what about my pain? A lot of the time they can make you think it's in your head.
It was in that moment that I realized that part of being a woman was being treated like you're not a human. It was being treated like you're a robot and you're supposed to wake up every day and get over it.
After years of pain and agony, she finally got an answer, but for Halsey, it wasn't hopeful.
When I finally got my endometriosis diagnosis, it was so bittersweet because it was like the relief of knowing I wasn't making it all up, but it also kind of sucked to know that I was going to be living with this forever.
I still wake up every day and I'm scared that everybody is going to give up on me because I'm a lot easier to deal with when I'm healthy than I am when I'm sick.
Feeling unworthy and desperate for support, she fell into a turbulent relationship with rapper G-Eazy.
We would kill for each other. We would die for each other.
He was really persistent. He really wanted to hang out, really wanted me to like him a lot, and it took me a while to be like, fine, okay, I like you back. But I think I got tricked into it.
Her love quickly turned sour and their relationship fell apart.
G-Eazy was reportedly arrested for cocaine possession and assault.
How could I have missed this? Everything was so good.
But she couldn't cope without him, and so their breakup didn't last long.
Your insecurities get the best of you.
And then, of course, situations like this complicate things when you love someone almost as much as you love yourself, maybe more.
Everything is really great. We took a little bit of time apart, and we're learning and growing.
But G-Eazy couldn't deal with her illness.
I don't want to play that game where it's like, let's pretend to be in a perfect relationship.
Meeting a partner in an episode, and then when I'm not manic anymore, then being like, well, now you're this depressed, miserable thing, and that's not what I signed up for.
G-Eazy and Halsey have reportedly called it quits again.
The graffiti said, "I'm so sorry I cheated."
There was kind of like that moment in time where I just felt like I couldn't trust anyone.
She was furious and heartbroken.
I think the heartbreak was a breaking point.
I mean, there's nothing more devastating than wanting to connect with someone and then them not accepting you for who you are.
You say G-Eazy one more time, I'll kick your
But when she got unexpected news from her doctor, Halsey began to question her motives.
She told me that,
because of my treatment, I could start a family. I felt like I had leveled up. It was this like ascension into a different kind of womanhood. All of a sudden everything I'm thinking about is different.
She now had a choice to make: remain trapped in the negativity or learn to love and support herself.
Taking responsibility is a painful experiment.
To kind of make peace with this manic version of myself and sit down and think, when I'm manic, that's also when I make my best art. It's when I'm the most compassionate. It's the version of me that has given me everything that I have.
Halsey realized she had to grow in a positive direction and let go of her anger.
I should matter enough on my own. I don't need someone else's validation.
But it was also in that moment that I realized that I could overcome anything.
And when Taylor was being mistreated, Halsey stepped up and supported her in the way she wished others would have done for her.
I wanted to make sure that she knew and that the rest of the world knew that what was happening it just isn't right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit and let that happen.
That we shouldn't let obstacles like criticism slow down the creative forces that drive us. And I see that fire in Halsey.
And with that, her childhood dream came true.
You still have that moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm on stage with Taylor Swift.
Halsey shows us that your desire to fight should come from wanting to grow, not from anger.
I got this anger out of me, and then I started to forgive that part of me. The person that I hope I become isn't too far off from the person that I already am right now.
And when we learn to support ourselves, it empowers us to support others.
As long as you wake up every day and you realize you still have more to learn, you still have ways to better yourself, then I think that's a pretty good way of sustaining things. You need to keep learning and keep growing and evolving.